What Were They Thinking is brought to you by HostGator. HostGator is a leading provider of shared, reseller, VPS, and dedicated hosting solutions. Award-winning support is available 24/7, 365 days a year via phone, email, and live chat. Discover why over 9 million websites trust HostGator. Use the coupon code SCHLOCK for 25% off your first purchase. That's SCHLOCK, SCHLOCK, for 25% off your first purchase.
What Were They Thinking is brought to you today by GameItAll.com. Whether it's video game news, the latest in music, or movie reviews, GameItAll.com is your one-stop shop for all nerdy talk.
Oh man, all these wrestling news sites are terrible.
What's the matter, young lad?
Ah, Mother Superior! No, don't hit me!
Hey.
I can't find a good wrestling news site.
A good wrestling news site? What's so good about a good wrestling news site anyway?
Well, I just need a place where I could get all the backstage news and rumors and scoop.
All right.
Don't hit me! I left the orphanage a while ago.
All right, listen, Billy's younger brother. I'm not going to hit you this time.
Oh, thank you.
But I will tell you about a great wrestling news site.
Okay. It's not terrible like the last one, right?
It's not terrible like the last one. It's called WrestlingNewsWorld.com. You can get all the latest wrestling news, spoilers, results, all the news from all over the wrestling world.
That sounds great.
No, yes, but you know what?
What?
It's not going to sound great if you keep up with that mouth of yours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, again, I left the orphanage a while ago. If you don't leave, I'm gonna tell my parents.
I have legal precedent over 37 states. Get back here!
No! Stop hitting me! No!
WrestlingNewsWorld.com. Sky Vodka! Will Smith saying the N-word. Explosions! Pepsi! Miller Genuine Draft. Gunfights! Biggity Bad Boys 2.
And that was the pitch meeting for Bad Boys 2, the sequel that happened almost 10 years after the original movie.
Michael Bay just brings a boombox to all his pitch meetings.
And they're filled with sound effects that are just explosions and sponsors, and he randomly says the things that are going to be in the movie.
You know what, though? I jest. I might have lied there, because I don't think Michael Bay lives in a world where he has to pitch anything anymore.
No, that's true. And I think at this point, he was actually just kind of going up into that kind of stratosphere. That's where he didn't have to say too much.
So this is our first time in the Michael Bay-niverse on this here podcast.
And by the by, there is Brendan.
Oh, yeah? I am Brendan.
And I am Nathan.
And this is the podcast, What Were They Thinking?
Right.
We like to do our intros 45 minutes in.
Now, if we could do our intro as our outro, we'd be the most hipster podcast on the internet.
Intros are so outro, bro.
Right. So yeah, this movie.
Yep.
I like the first one better.
Pretty great, eh?
This movie is about 45 minutes longer than it should have been.
Okay, so
and just in comparison, garbage to the first one.
I will agree on several things about this movie. I have no problem talking about. First of all, I have no problem talking about how fucking stupid Bad Boys 2 is on every level, and it is a lot longer than
every level.
Yep, agreed. And it is way longer than it should be by at least 45 minutes. However, I had a good time. Whether that was because it was really dumb or I just enjoyed it, I don't know. For me, okay, this is the thing with this movie, okay? For me, this movie is a constant battle of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence's chemistry and charisma, of which they have quite a bit, versus the actual writing of the script.
This, I actually was having a good time right up until they went to Cuba. And that's at the risk of getting ahead of ourselves, but and that's not to say anything bad about Cuba. It's a fine communist dictatorship, but it's that portion of the movie felt very tacked on to me.
Yeah.
And I actually, this is another movie in our illustrious list of films that we've covered here that I paid theater money for.
I did as well, and I'll tell you why. This movie did come out while I worked at the theater. However, at the time, a little bit of background theater knowledge here, folks, dropping this on you right now. But there used to be a thing called Famous Players, and
Yes.
this played at Famous Players, but not Empire Theaters. Oh shit, I just revealed where I used to work, and I had to actually pay theater money to go see it. But
Well,
I was 16 years old, so I loved it.
I'd like to see Bad Boys too.
Jeez, is that my voice at 16?
I hear the Fresh Prince says the N-word in this movie.
I like to live vicariously through him.
Combo number 2, please.
Yeah, that was pretty much me. I'd like to point out, this is also part, we did mention this last time, but we're still in our summer Flopbusters portion.
I've come up with so many names for this. I know we're calling it Flopbusters on the podcast, but I'm like, it's our summer lackluster season. It's our summer schlockbuster season.
It can call it, you guys can choose whatever name you see fit. But
as long as it's not quality film.
Yeah. But I just wanted to mention that because as far as making money, this movie fucking killed it at the box office.
To be fair, like I said, the first one is really, really good, and it is easily one of my favorite Michael Bay movies. The first one,
yeah.
And I was really looking forward to seeing it. Besides what now?
So besides Transformers 5, I'm guessing.
Oh my! I am not in the order of Wickwickians.
But yeah, because this movie had a budget of $90 million, which is it's all there on screen. It's very obviously a high budget movie.
That's a small independent movie for Michael Bay.
It's true nowadays, but it made $273 million, so it did quite well.
Yeah, doesn't surprise you that it's been over almost 15 years now, and the sequel is apparently slated to come out next year.
Jesus. Yeah, but a little tidbit, Michael Bay is not directing it.
Well, and then I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, it's I forget who it is, but I'll find it at some point during this podcast. But it's somebody who's also done some big action movies, not great ones, so it's not amazing, but maybe it'll be different and fun. Who knows? So here's a foreboding warning you should take note of whenever you watch a movie. When something opens up and says Bruckheimer Productions and then directed by Michael Bay, run away.
Well, depending on what year it was made.
In general, though.
Yeah. I do like a lot of the, I guess, not so much just Bruckheimer Productions, Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah.
I like that combo. I mean, I like The Rock. It was fantastic. They were also responsible, I believe, for the Beverly Hills Cop. So I mean, exactly, Axel. So the movies they can make some good movies, and I have seen some movies that Michael Bay has been associated with, maybe not directed, but associated with, that didn't turn out half bad.
Yes.
And the original Bad Boys was a Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay joint.
Original Bad Boys, fun fact, still has a pretty low Rotten Tomatoes rating.
That is a crime, because that movie is awesome.
43, I think?
Well, critics don't mean shit. Says people criticizing movies.
Yeah. Fuck the critics. Let's talk criticism. Okay, so this movie, like we said, is way too long. It's 2 hours and 27 minutes of an action comedy sequel, so you already know these characters, so they don't need time to establish anyone, and yet...
And that's the thing, like, even with the first one, they didn't take a whole lot of a time to establish, the relationship between Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in the first one.
Yeah.
So you've already got a pre-existing universe where, not to say that the characters are flat or just two-dimensional, but it's just they do kind of speak for themselves. You don't need a backstory like a big giant one.
No.
So, I mean, and especially with a sequel, like you said.
No, exactly. So I want to say right off the bat, the way the movie starts, where the credits are going over like an ecstasy, like the place where they're making ecstasy, basically.
Yes.
The way the credits ran, and it was like Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, I was like, man, this would be amazing if they were like doing the voices of two like ecstasy pills.
Don't put that out there, because the Emoji Movie just came out.
Oh.
That sort of thing can happen if you put that out in the collective unconscious.
Guys, there's 3 positive reviews in the world of the Emoji Movie.
It's 3 more than I thought there would be.
And one of them is meh.
Oh, well, that's a good middling, I guess. I thought it was kind of funny that the way the credits rolled in this movie, they were showing the stars and then the locations. So
Yeah.
it was like, starring Miami.
Yeah, I get a kick out of whenever movies, sometimes their timing is weird, like they'll put some guy's name and it's like some like hot blonde on screen and it says like Harrison Ford or something like that. That kills me. But guess who's back, Nathan? Back to the
Back
What Were They
again?
Thinking universe.
Oh. Who?
It's Swarthy McForeign.
It is Swarthy McForeign. He is the big baddie in this one as well.
Oh, there
I
goes
did not notice that right away.
I recognized his name when we watched Criminal for some reason. It's like Yordi or Jordy Mola or whatever the hell.
Is it?
So yeah, he's back. He's making his second appearance. Also making his second appearance in the What Were They Thinking universe is Joey Pants.
Yes.
Who we'll see later on. So this is the first thing, a bad script when you have a scene. It's very brief, but it's right at the beginning because we see Swarthy McForeign moving all his drugs in a boat.
Right, as Swarthy McForeign people do.
Yes, and he tells one of his like little goons like beside him. He just says like, "Oh man, all this dope and 100,000. Wow, I am moving all this dope." Like, he's basically like a conversation you would never have with like your underlings.
Yeah, it's like it's welcome to exposition theater.
Yeah, welcome to exposition theater. Exactly. I wish he had an accent like that the whole time. I have
Swarthy McBritish.
100,000 units of ecstasy.
Why is he so jowly?
Every British person has a lot of jowls in my impression, I guess.
Okay.
Sorry, British people. I do love the accent.
I know a monkey who might take exception to that.
Wow. I'm sorry, Montrose. He hates you more, though, I think, so it's all good.
Well, you start talking shit about his people, he might change his mind.
Oh man, okay. Well, I better move on because I want to know because we see Henry Rollins as the FBI kind of leader guy.
They're actually head of the tactical narcotics team.
Right. Sorry, but I want to know because you told us last week a little teaser that you knew the story about Henry Rollins, how Henry Rollins got this part. So let's have it.
Well, okay. So, if anybody's familiar with Henry Rollins, they know that every once in a while he'll star in a movie or cameo in a movie or be a supporting actor in a movie. And one time he got an audition for I think it was, I can't remember what movie, but Michael, it was a Michael Bay movie. Okay. And yes, it was a Michael Bay movie, and he was supposed to come in and do a read, and he went in, and Michael Bay, as you said earlier, he's in a situation where he doesn't really have to pitch anything anymore, right? Well, he was, for some reason, Michael Bay was also involved in the casting process of this situation. And when Henry Rollins came in to do his read for his audition, Michael Bay was just kind of sitting, or rather lounging, on the couch that was there, not really paying attention, looking ever so bored out of his mind. And Rollins didn't really know who it was, because he didn't know him from, like, to look at him.
Okay.
He was really pissed off that this guy was there deciding whether or not he should, be involved with this movie, and he wasn't even really paying attention to the read. So, Henry Rollins, being who he is, figuring he's, since the guy's not even really paying attention or anything like that, or isn't really gonna care, and is kind of upset by this, starts just breaking, and being loud and as obnoxious as he can, because I believe he was reading for one of the villains or something. Anyways, as soon as he slams down this chair, Michael Bay kind of snaps to attention, because he's like shaken out of his couch coma, and he went and he did this read, and he was kind of forced to do it. He didn't get the part, but because he went in and acted such a loud maniac and spooked Michael Bay out of his couch coma, that's how he got into Bad Boys 2. Because when they came around time to casting Bad Boys 2, Michael Bay had remembered what he had done in the other audition and was like, we need that guy.
That makes so much sense.
And, to be fair, the guy's, he's pretty intense, I mean, in general.
Yeah.
So.
But, I mean, if you want to get a role in a Michael Bay movie, you've got to fucking scare the shit out of him.
They rock him out of his couch coma.
That is hilarious. Well, you got to think, what was Nicolas Cage's audition like? For, like, oh, what the fuck? For, like, The Rock? Like, oh my god, he must have shaken him to his core.
I got this blow, Michael.
You're hired.
That's not how that happened.
Allegedly. Gonna get us sued. One of the guys looks like Tank Abbott. Did you notice that?
Oh, one of the TAC guys? Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we start with a KKK rally, and at the same time,
all good movies do.
Yes. Don't worry, guys. There's 2 black leads. This movie's not racist because we have black people in it. It's fine.
Yeah, that makes it A-okay.
But we keep cutting back.
Stuff that happens in this goddamn movie.
Yeah. Never mind. I think every race is affected. So anyway, so we cut between this scene and the boat as if, like, I think they try to make you think that this is actually the bust. Like, this is the big bust at the beginning of the movie. But
right.
It turns out that the KKK only have like 2 bags of ecstasy or something. Okay. Instead of this big shipment that they're after, right? Mm-hmm. So, the best/worst character introduction, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence burst out of these KKK robes. I will not say what they say, but the line is essentially, oopsie daisy, it's the N-words.
Yeah.
And blue power, motherfucker. I like that.
I have a feeling that a lot of the things you're like really on board for in this movie are going to elicit that response from me in this podcast.
Well,
I'm going to be like,
16-year-old Brendan was like, "Oh shit," and I'll be honest, 30-year-old Brendan was like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that."
I can just see you now sitting in the Famous Players Theater, knees rocking back, hand over his back. Oh no, he did it!
And it was a packed theater too. I just remember like the actual theater experience was fun because everyone was just kind of into it.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Okay, I do like the running gag that Martin Lawrence doesn't know the words to the Bad Boys song. That kind of
yes, and considering that the song at that point was almost 12 years old.
Yeah,
you'd think he would have gotten it, and I get it, they were playing it for yucks, but I mean, still, they're not hard lyrics to understand.
I did get a legitimate kick out of him being like, because it's totally something I do when I don't know the words to something. Oh God, Michael Shannon is in this movie.
I know.
Noted thespian Michael Shannon is in Bad Boys 2, you guys, as a racist Klan member.
For the longest time, I thought that the first movie I'd ever seen him in of note for me was The Runaways. I guess not, because I saw this movie and he was in it, and I saw it when it came out in theaters. So.
I think Bug came out before this, but I only saw it later.
Okay.
But that's a weird one. But yeah, Michael Shannon is like, you know, most people know him as like a sort of stoic guy now. He's so over the top in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
well, at least we know he's got range.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's pretty crazy. We got our rights.
You have to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's right. So right off the bat, they crash this KKK party. Many people are killed.
And it is always kind of fun to watch Klan members get popped, though. I will say I enjoyed that.
I have no issue with that. I do like also the Klan member. The Klan member says like a racial slur. Martin Lawrence is like, "No, why do you have to say that? He's got to be a cop. He's got to be that too." But yeah, most of the Klan members get killed. And again, they find out that the ecstasy, it's not the bus they were hoping, and they wasted a lot of, basically a lot of manpower on this small bust. Also, I want to...
like one bag of pills or something?
It was like, yeah, it was like a couple bags. I want to say, too, that Will Smith, I would not want to have him as my partner, because if I'm Martin Lawrence and this KKK guy's pointing a gun to my head, Will Smith's just taunting everyone. Like, can we maybe... Like, I'm on Martin... I'm on Team Martin here, where he's like, "Oh, can we just talk about this?"
And now again, but that does go along with the relationship. I mean, if you even watch the first one, it's the same way, right?
Yeah, I just don't know how he is still his partner.
Because they've been friends since high school. Remember, they live together. They ride together. They die together. They're bad boys for life.
Yeah, dog. We are the whitest people that could possible that could be covering this movie.
I'm sure Seamus has seen it.
Yes, you did it.
That's right.
At the same time, I don't know if I'd want to be Martin Lawrence's partner, because Martin Lawrence just doesn't kill people. He won't do it.
He is afraid of everything.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes. He's afraid of body parts. He's afraid of rats. Body smells. Rats. He sees a finger, and it's like he's never seen a finger. I'm like, how long have you been a cop? In Miami.
Yeah. Yeah, where there are cartels who do things like this, like on the regular.
Oh yeah, this is like a Wednesday in Miami. That's what I'm guessing.
Clan meeting, chopped off fingers. Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Very early on, we get the idea of the tone of the movie, because we get a little bit of homophobia and racism all in one scene.
Oh,
with because Will Smith accidentally shoots Martin Lawrence in the ass.
Yes,
or through the ass. And these their partners, the two Latino cops,
who aren't the same Latino cops from the first Bad Boys.
Oh, really? Different actors or different
actors? Yep.
Okay. They they tell Will Smith, "Why don't you give it a little kissy kiss?" And they respond with, "Isn't there a Ricky Martin concert you have to go to?"
Yeah.
So right away, and then like, the thing is too, when they say that Ricky Martin line, the guys go, "Oh wow, you have to take it racial," and then like an hour later they go racial. Like, it's just like they say something about like chicken or something.
Dude, it's a Michael Bay movie, man.
Yeah, I read an interview where this guy talked about Michael Bay, and he's like, he edits for excitement and thrills, not logic, and he wasn't being like funny. He was
saying legitimately, this is how that works.
Yeah.
He wasn't saying it in a disparaging way or a supportive way, just a factual way.
These are the facts, guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Martin Lawrence, he makes note to be ahead of Heath Slater on this one because he got kids.
Wait, can we talk about... Okay, this whole thing, we get this thing this little subplot thing starting here with the psychiatrist bit.
Yes.
And the whole Wusa thing. Did that feel like... All that stuff felt like deleted scenes that they just forgot to cut.
Yeah, the film sessions were just like it was, him. There's like a quip with him, Martin Lawrence, talking about stress and his kids and the woosah thing, and then Will Smith, bad doctor. Not since Monkey Bone have we seen a doctor as bad as this doctor.
Yeah, but Will Smith, he gonna fuck anything that moves, dog.
I don't care. Don't care. It's up to the doctor to be the responsible individual.
And then Will Smith is disgusted by men hugging and kissing.
Yep.
He's like,
because Martin Lawrence goes to like a support group.
Yeah, and he's like, a bunch of men hugging and kissing, that's some cult shit. Guys, Peter Stormare is in this movie.
Yes.
This is where he shows up. Yeah. And he has one of those weird lines in a Michael Bay movie that nobody ever says, and it just, like, I don't understand why it's said. He just says, like, literally, some guy's ODing in his club, because Peter Stormare owns this nightclub, and he supplies Swarthy's ecstasy.
Yes.
And he has a line where he simply just says, ecstasy fucks them up. That's it. Like, I don't understand. Why would you just randomly say that out loud?
Well, at this point, have they noted that the pills that are being moved are ecstasy?
I think so.
I'm not sure, because Swarthy McForrin talked about it just being dope.
Okay, so if that's their way of telling...
Welcome to Exposition Theater.
Yeah, if that's their way of telling us, holy shit, that is the worst bit of screenwriting.
Are you saying that there's ham-fisted dialogue in a Michael Bay movie? I am shocked.
I wouldn't dare make that accusation. But nobody else in the club thinks it's weird that they just drag this ODing guy and leave him to die on the side of the road.
I will say Peter Stormare's got a pretty good line where he's talking to Swarthy McForrin. He's like, I've got to let you go. Some asshole's dying in my club.
Yeah, some asshole thinks he can die in my club.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter Stormare, I gotta say, I enjoyed him because it looks like he's legitimately having a good time.
Yeah. Because there's not a whole lot of stakes associated to his role, so I think he just kind of, went for the gusto.
Peter Stormare strikes me as someone who people see as like an artiste kind of actor, but honestly, I think he just wants to do things where stuff blows up.
I think the guy, while he's got range and you might see him as an artistic type actor, I think he's just an actor who likes to work, because I've seen him in everything from like big budget stuff like this to that absolutely terrible movie I saw, Dark Summer.
I thought you were going to say, when you said absolutely terrible, I thought you were going to say Nacho Libre, and I was going to say bite your tongue.
I clearly there's something there, Brennan, because you thought I was going to say it.
I think
that says more about you than anything, and your deep down opinion about that movie.
I just prepare for the worst, Nathan. Yeah, so Peter Stormare owns this club. He's basically his American supplier or Miami supplier or whatever. Yeah, Will Smith is... So, yeah, the family barbecue, I think, is next. Right?
Yes. Actually, no, it's like, yeah, it is, but for some reason, Martin Lawrence is talking about his balls with his daughter before the whole thing gets rolling.
Yeah, and
they show up, and they're like, he's like, it still works, and he's like talking about his nuts, and his, like, with his daughter, I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah. And his daughter apparently watches Sex in the City.
Yeah, cancel the cable.
Cancel the damn cable, Teresa. Will Smith.
I wonder if that's one of Martin Lawrence's like contract caveats, that every woman that is his love interest or he has to talk to in a movie or a TV show is Teresa.
Oh, wait, is his show? Is that his wife on his show?
I thought it was.
Oh, maybe. I've never seen Martin, to be honest.
Oh man, I used to watch that show, quite regularly until I found out what he did with the lead actress. Woo.
Martin Lawrence, good guy. Great
guy. Yeah, he was one of the only people we banned from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. If you want to know why, guys, look it up. Watch that monologue. It's pretty
Remember
nasty.
to wash your ass.
Oh God. So yeah, we get the family barbecue. We meet. Honestly, I think this is one of the worst actors in the movie. I mean, I don't know if she's like. I've only seen her in a few things, but in this movie, it's Martin's sister, Gabriel
Yes.
Union. I find she is so like. I don't know. There's just nothing there. She kind of reminds me of sort of how that girl in Thrashin' acts. Like I just don't see any emotion, any like nothing.
she's Pamela Gidley for the new millennium.
Yes, she
Okay.
is. She is Michael Bay's Pamela Gidley. And
All right.
she doesn't like. I find even when so she's a cop. We find out his sister. She's DEA.
Fed. She's a Fed.
Yeah, she's DEA, and we find out that she's undercover with the whole drug trade. She's working with Peter Stormare, trying to find out what he's all about. And when she's undercover, I'm just like immediately I'm like she's a cop. Like I don't know how they don't realize it. Like she is the worst undercover agent ever. She is so obvious. Like even when she's like, "Hey, don't fuck me over," I'm just like, "You're a cop." Did you get that too? Like, is it she's?
Well, I found that. I don't know. I think that again for a Michael Bay movie, it's fine.
Okay.
Especially when she starts mouthing off to the crime lords that she just met. Mm-hmm. Because that's what you do with crime lords when you just meet them. Just start mouthing off.
Yeah, you got to establish dominance right away.
Yeah. Also, my theory about Teresa just got shot. Apparently, the Martin's girlfriend on the television show Martin was Gina.
Oh shit.
That was the character's name. So.
All right. Well.
So much for that.
Martin's kids are also pretty awful. He talks about it. Will Smith is making fun of his pool, and she says, one of his kids is like, "Dad, why couldn't you get a good pool?" And he says, "This one costs $3,900." And the kid responds with, "So how much did the good pools cost?"
Yeah.
It's like, you fucking
I actually
kid.
have a note. They have a pretty asshole family about the whole pool situation.
Jeez. Even to the point where I'm actually on Martin's side and laughing a little bit when he says, "Mike, can I see you by my stupid pool?"
Now, I don't know Miami, and I hope our podcast reaches far and wide so that somebody in Miami can answer this question for us. That canal that they live next to, can they not swim in that?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Was there even a line acknowledging that?
No.
Okay, so they have a pool right by like the ocean, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Sharks, crocodiles, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, shit. They're in Miami.
Alligators, maybe. I'm not sure, but I really I need closure on that whole situation because it did bother me.
Well,
and I see it here too all the time too. It's like people who live right next to lakes and they have pools. I'm like, you live next to a lake. What the hell?
To be fair, there are some lakes I wouldn't be caught dead in.
I guess.
I don't mean I wouldn't swim in them. I just mean I wouldn't want to be found in a lake. That's all.
Oh well, I mean that there is that too. You wouldn't want to be a bloated corpse on a enclosed water.
No, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Miller Genuine Draft.
Yes. There are product sponsors.
I am surprised at this one though, because we also skipped over Sky Vodka. That was also in the nightclub.
Yes.
I am surprised at Miller Genuine Draft because the Miller Genuine Draft truck turns out to be the truck that Martin's sister is in, where she's making like the drug deal.
But it's okay because she is a law enforcement agent.
That's true.
So Miller Genuine Draft is being used for good, though it's pretending to be bad.
I'm still a little surprised by it.
Which is really the opposite of Miller Genuine Draft. It pretends to be good, and it does nothing but bad.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, well, we're ever going to get sponsored by them.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's it for us. MGD is out of the loop. Yeah. So that's two blatant product placement already in this movie. So,
yep.
Okay, I have a note here that says Jamaican gathering horn. I think I meant Haitian gathering horn, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
What was that? So, Will Smith has a guy on the inside, a Haitian guy on the inside. Oh, by the way, if you are a Haitian and you watch this movie, I'm sorry. I am so sorry because
if you are anybody who watched this movie, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I am not on board for that.
Really? Because everybody gets it in this movie. Everybody does.
Oh, yeah. Regarding, like, no matter what race you are, you'll be offended?
Yes,
100%.
exactly.
Yes, 100%. But yeah, Will Smith has, like, a Haitian guy on the inside who tells him about a bigger deal because he kind of fucked up by giving him that KKK intel that led to almost nothing. So he says, yeah, there's these Haitians that they know more shit, man. They got stuff. So, or no, sorry, not the Haitians. He directs them over to where Peter Stormare is, and that's how they find out that Martin's sister is undercover DEA.
Right.
After the 78-minute long action sequence.
A note here: Peter Stormare takes his character motivation as by portraying what he thinks Michael Bay is like on a regular basis.
Oh, you mean when he's flicking his tongue at her?
Yeah.
He's like, let's see how your machine works, and then he literally says,
that sounds dirty. I want to see how your machine works.
Yeah. Instead of just delivering the line and then flicking his tongue, which would have got the message across, he has to explain to us that it sounds dirty and then repeat it. That's the kind of movie we're dealing with here, guys.
Yeah.
The movie has to tell you that is a dirty line.
I will say this, though. This movie, you like you said, the big action set pieces that comes up next, this really did accomplish one thing. It makes me want the next Grand Theft Auto game to be set in Vice City again.
Oh, and I will say that these action scenes, and like in this Michael Bay movie, these action scenes, night and day compared to the ones he does now. I find the ones he did then, like in this movie, not amazing and like way too quick cut and all that nonsense, so much better than now. Yeah. Like his scenes now, if you watch the latest Transformers movie, and I don't recommend that you do,
not at all.
The action scenes in that movie are just interminable, like just nonsense. And like at least in this movie, people are getting shot and killed. In the Transformers movie, it's just clank, 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 no stakes.
Yeah.
So I mean, at least there's a little bit of investment because there are like results. You know what I mean?
Right. There's the public safety involved. Martin Lawrence is clearly looking out for his sister, and so is Will Smith because surprise, surprise, they've got kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, Martin's sister gets jumped by the Haitians to start up this big action scene. And then the highlight of this whole thing is that they're throwing cars down the road.
Oh, off of an auto delivery truck.
And if you didn't get that from watching them throw cars, Martin Lawrence says they're throwing cars.
Just in case, Well, I hear he directed this one. He wanted to direct this movie with described audio for the visually impaired, but they couldn't get the funding. So he just has Martin Lawrence shout whatever's going on screen.
Also, like, these guys are always quipping. Like, 125% of the movie.
Yeah, never not quipping.
They're never, like, there is one very quick, serious, somber moment, and then it's right back to Quip City. Like, they do not stop. Like, there are cars being thrown at them, and they're like, oh shit, that puckered up my butthole!
Yes.
Like, even in, like...
And incidentally, the worst policing ever.
Oh,
I mean...
Yeah. Yeah. Just shooting in the middle of the fucking street!
Where random folk are walking by. Hands down, worst policing ever.
Oh, just awful. I think the funniest line, unintentionally here, is they finally catch up to Martin's sister, and she says quietly, "Get over here, I'm undercover."
Yes. With the stage whisper.
What did you just do?
I don't want to give away. Then why are you whispering so loudly?
And like... The people come and, like, take the money. There's, like, a drop or whatever. So the people come and take the money. Do they not see her talking to the two cops right there?
Well, no, they don't think they're cops. Remember, because later in the movie, they mistake them for gangbangers.
Oh, yeah, and Swarthy calls them bitches.
Yes. This movie has all the subtlety of a Fast and the Furious movie with none of the charm, in my opinion.
Controversial statement. I only enjoyed Fast and the Furious 8 for some reason.
That is odd because I'm guessing you haven't seen number 3.
I have not.
Because Tokyo Drift is one of my favorite Fast and the Furious movies.
I saw the first 2 and 7 and 8.
Oh, well then you missed all the good transitional points because they go like if you watch, obviously you've seen the first 2 where everything's all like street racing and low level crime to international crimes and hacking and things like that. There is a transition if you watch the movies, and you kind of do have to kind of sort of watch them in order to get the transition.
Yeah.
Not necessarily get the story that's going on, but to watch how it works from that low level street crime all the way up to international espionage that they're at now.
I was kind of confused going from 2 to 7, I will say.
Yes.
Okay. So, Bad Boys 2.
Back to it, I guess. Damn it.
Why does did you think the line was, I know it was meant to be a funny line, but were you creeped out when Martin Lawrence was, when he found out his sister was undercover and he said, "I'm telling mommy"?
I have that noted. I don't. I actually was more bothered by the fact that Martin Lawrence was wearing a Michael Vick jersey.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Says a lot.
Yep.
We go to the police stations, which are only seen in Hollywood films. The giant, beautiful glass police station.
Palatial police station.
And again, here he comes, back again after Ready to Rumble, Joey Pants.
He was so much better in the first movie. The thing that bothers me about his character in this movie is because, I mean, obviously it's a continuation of his character from the first movie, but the difference of all the characters in this movie that were in the first movie, his changes so drastically, and I hated it because it was just far too. You could tell it was like, we don't have a whole lot of dialogue for the captain, so let's make him, neurotic and doing the woo-saw thing, and that way we can keep doing that through the entire movie. He was a very, I don't know, cliched, but a very standard police captain in the first movie. Talking about how, the city's going to shut them down, reassign them if they don't catch the drug dealers. They had 2 days to find this guy. You guys, you're wrecking everything. I'm sick of it. And he would be yelling at them and telling them to get the shit done. In this one here, he starts to yell and he's like, "No, I'm going to my happy place. Woo-saw, woo-saw." And I'm like, come on.
Yeah. And like, we talk about over the top performances. His performance in this movie makes Gary Oldman in Criminal look like Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, he makes him look super subtle, and it's a shame. It really is.
I will say that, like, Joey Pants, I like Joey Pants a lot. He's a good actor.
I do too, and he apparently he loves to work, obviously, because he's said yes to some pretty awful things.
Joey Pants and Swarthy McForrin together.
At last.
Yeah,
they got your letters.
They don't share a scene, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, Joey Pants is just freaking out, so much so that he actually has some prop work. He goes over to the board and he's like, "Tactical narcotics team with finesse and subtlety," and I'm like, finesse and subtlety, like nothing you're doing right now.
I did like their when Martin Lawrence is starting to explain some of the police procedure, and he's like, "Yeah, I know. That's why I'm the captain."
Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I'm the chief of police. I know what that is."
That's why. Yeah. And we find out that they think Eastern meditation is gay, apparently.
Yeah.
This movie.
That happens a few times.
You could tell that this movie was made right at that point when it started to become really not okay, but it was still kind of okay to write shit like that.
No, I think this would take a serious rewrite if they made this movie today.
Yeah.
I do. We didn't mention, but during that whole thing, Martin Lawrence somehow shoots his own dashboard. And then Will Smith is on the phone in this scene, and he's like, "Oh, kiss my ass. No, you're going to get your money."
Oh, you're going to get... And he's like looking at Martin Lawrence while he's saying it.
Yeah, somebody's going to pay you. To be fair, how the fuck did you shoot your own dashboard?
Well, no, Will Smith was driving, and Martin Lawrence was the one who shot the dashboard.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Martin,
Yeah.
like, how did he even do that? Although, I will say, I did like his delivery when he shoots it, and he's like, "What the hell?" And Martin Lawrence just like, "Oh, that's my bad." Again, for me, I feel like these two are trying very hard, but they're not given anything particularly funny to say.
No.
So,
And I feel that, like, a lot of the stuff was that action scene. I think that, obviously, a lot of the in-car stuff would have been shot post that, because obviously they're not going to shoot them saying that stuff while a lot of it's going on.
while they're stunt driving, too.
Yeah. But I think what may have happened is like, we just need to film a bunch of silly stuff. Michael Bay fell asleep while they were shooting stuff, and they shot everything they could think of.
Yeah.
And then like, just like John Carpenter with They Live, he was like, just leave it in. Leave it all in.
Better movie, though.
Yeah.
By leaps and bounds.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually did have a note here that said, did Michael Bay have some secret agenda against psychiatry or something? Because, like, there's a lot of lines, like you said, where they're
Is
just
he a
like...
Scientologist?
Is he? Oh, shit. Maybe.
Look into that.
I remember
There's
looking up a
rats.
list of, like, people who were, like, famous Scientologists. I don't remember seeing his name. I would have definitely perked up if I noticed that, but... So,
We go to
Oh,
Swearing
man.
Foreign's place now because there's rats all over his money.
yeah. Yeah. And he's shooting at them. And... but it's this... I think this is also the scene where you see his daughter,
Yes.
and one of his goons is, like, laughing because he calls his daughter beautiful, and I'm just like, oh, man, you deserve to die.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. You don't, like, snicker at the drug lord's daughter.
No, especially one who is clearly unbalanced.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he did not just recently, go off the rails with his mental stability.
No. And, like, he said, and then to recover from that, he says, yeah, she's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Ah, dude.
Played by John Cena.
That. Wait.
Cena.
Oh.
Cena.
Oh, okay. And his name is
Cena.
John Cena!
There's a lot of folks in this movie, and it's another one of those movies. This is just a plethora of talent who are underutilized.
Haitian gift shop.
Oh, is this the one where they go and he wrecks up the place?
They have a planned dance routine.
Yeah.
Like, right? They rehearse this because he says, hey, you want to show them our moves? And they know exactly what the other one's going to do.
Yeah. Whoosh, bang.
So they go into the Haitian shop where Will Smith's contact is, and they just start busting it up because they want him to give him better information. Again? They want to know where, I think they're looking for, like, Ice Pick or something. The guy's name?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, guys, not just Haitians, but holy shit, this movie does not like Haitian people. So he tells them where to go, basically. They end up having this big shootout with a bunch of Haitians. Again,
Which goes way too long.
really long. Although...
And I even had a note that also that Bad Boys, the original Bad Boys, had way better gunplay dialogue.
Yeah, they're just literally just saying fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much all their dialogue. I actually, I looked it up. This is on, it's not near the top or anything, but there is 153 uses of the word fuck in this movie.
Oh, there you go.
That's over 1 a minute, which is pretty high. So they have this shootout, and, like, literally it's just like the lines are like, we just want to talk. They can't hear you because they're still shooting at you.
Yeah.
But one line I've always remembered for some reason, because it's the it's the weirdest thing. One of the Haitian guys says, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm the devil." And he says, "The devil." Yeah.
The devil's not welcome in my house.
Yeah. Also, fuck you, Michael Bay. I hate this 360-degree camera bullshit.
Oh.
Yeah. So
it was the thing at the time, though.
I know. So they waste everyone except for one dude
who gets a spin kick.
Yeah. We're already, by the way, weird like narrative thing. I would think the Martin Lawrence thing where he doesn't want to like kill anyone would be resolved like near the end, which it is. But why would you have him kick the guy in the face and stop doing the wusa thing this early in the movie?
Yeah.
It was weird. It's like, oh, okay, well, his journey is over. Do you know what I mean?
It's because it was tacked on for laughs.
I know, but I'm just saying, as a narrative thing, it makes no sense.
Again,
I know.
He doesn't edit for logic.
I know. I'm just pointing out
this
movie's inherent flaws. I know they're difficult to see.
Well, this isn't the last time he has that, that therapeutic tender moment, because that comes up in just a few moments.
Again, like we said, this movie would have to have serious rewrites.
I'm sorry, but why would they go to like a Best Buy? The Miami Police Department, by the looks of the headquarters that they went into, they've got some tech guys.
Listen,
there's some money going into that police department.
They needed to find out right away. They don't have time for Miami PD. They got to get this shit on lock. Because they go to they meet like the dorkiest of dorks at this Best Buy thing, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Well, it's not even a Best Buy. It's like it's like a largest shop, because the guy makes a note to say, "My dad owns the place."
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much a Best Buy though.
Yeah,
and he says his first thing he says is like, "Oh, I love the show Cops." Natural dialogue throughout this whole thing, guys. That's what you.
Well, to be fair, once when I was working one of my previous jobs, the police came in to pick something up from one of the stores that had gotten robbed, and while they were standing in the store waiting for the manager, we're just standing around in awkward silence. He says, "So, how are you today?" To which I replied, "Law-abiding."
That's pretty good.
So yeah,
I'm a law.
It doesn't have to be a Michael Bay movie to be, stilted dialogue.
I am a law-abiding citizen, officer.
There you go, you dumbass.
Dumbass. See previous episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they try to watch this video that this Haitian guy has given them, and of course,
there's porn, and then there's
hilarity ensues because it ends up on every TV screen.
Yeah.
And then, like, the weirdest thing, why do they have... Okay, they go into this room, they, like, walk off, like Will and Martin. They go into this room where cameras are, like, set up to record. Like,
no, but see, that's the thing. That's the weird thing about this movie. Those rooms were a thing.
Okay, what...
In large places like Future Shop or Best Buy or something like that, they would have these rooms set up for that. But it wouldn't be set up with a camera. It would be set up with a huge TV,
to
nice
watch
comfy
it.
couch, a theater surround system, usually like the highest end DVD player that they had, and so they could show you, how awesome this TV is, how awesome this DVD player is, how big and bold these the home theater speakers. Never once have I ever seen a home theater demo room set up with a handycam.
No, never.
No, and it's done here, obviously, for yucks, so they can make a billion gay jokes.
Oh, I just have a note that says, "Ha ha ha ha, look how funny gay people are, they're so different."
I have a very similar note, which says, "Oh, a confessional, gay jokes, ha 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 ha." Fuck this movie.
Oh, and then you get all the great reaction shots from everyone in the store, because basically they're doing this thing where they're talking about something else, but of course it sounds like they're a homosexual couple,
right?
Talking about their love life.
They're sitting there. First, they go in and they're talking. Martin Lawrence is actually thoroughly distraught because he's put in papers to transfer, so he's breaking up the band, basically.
Yeah.
And Mike wants to talk about what's going on. And he said all the things that have been happening, and not to mention the fact that you shot me in the ass. Right? Mm-hmm. And so they've established in the conversation that they're having that they're actually talking about him getting shot in the butt. But when they cut in, wackiest of, shenanigans, when the camera cuts in, they're just talking about, things got a little rough last night, and I'm sorry about what happened to your ass, but, we're partners, and that's, sometimes that sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
And, of course, everybody who's in the store is now seeing this on every screen. What? And they're all appalled because they think it's a couple of gay dudes having a spat. Except
for the gay couple.
Yes, who are doing like a director's commentary. He's an asshole. What a bastard.
Nathan's not even doing an over the top thing. That's what they sound like in the movie.
That's exactly what they sounded like.
It's like it's a blatant caricature.
Absolutely.
And the thing is too is and then there's this woman there who's like, I don't need this gay shit. Oh my god,
she tells them they need to find Jesus.
Yeah, you two motherfuckers need Jesus.
Yes.
It's bad, but I laugh every time. Just her delivery.
Okay, so we can move past this now.
Yeah, so, I wanted to say, though, real quick, while they're doing that scene, not only is it being misinterpreted as, a gay confession thing, but Will Smith is being an awful person. Because he's basically telling Martin Lawrence, I don't care about your problems, let's just talk about cop stuff, just don't talk to me about that.
Yeah.
If you're good friends, you need to get over your insecurity and be a good friend.
Okay, well, that's fair.
I'm putting you on the pedestal.
Especially if they're, if they ride together and they die together because they're bad boys for life.
Can we say that a few more times?
I plan on it. We go back, though, and we get to meet their tech department, who is Fletcher from the first Bad Boys movie, who is the only person in the movie playing against stereotype.
You know what? Oh, yes, but also kind of still a stereotype.
Why is that?
Are you talking about the guy that they get, the nerd?
The computer guy, yeah.
I find that still can be a stereotype in these movies, though.
Well, okay, yes, I will get that.
I'll give you that it's not the usual stereotype.
Right. And however, though, if you do put the movies together, he is still playing as stereotype because in the first movie, he's a convict.
Oh.
He was in jail for hacking.
I do not remember the first movie at all.
Oh my god, I've seen the first movie so many times because it is so good. This movie, on the other hand, big rat balls.
This movie also thinks computers are exciting, just like Criminal, which Swarthy was also in. What?
At least he's not being, at least he's not the impetus for, exciting computers in this one, though.
I gotta say, Swarthy McForrin, there are some moments in this movie where his acting is on point. He is fucking trying.
Everybody's trying in this movie. I can't say a single person in this movie phoned anything in.
No.
Except maybe the writers.
Yeah. Well, except for Gabriel Union. Let's not talk about that.
Okay. Pam Gidley for the new generation.
Michael Bay, Pam Gidley, yep. Okay, so... Jesus. All right, so we go to... so basically they get this guy who... he's a nerdy dude who can hack pretty much anything. Somehow hacks Swarthy's, phone line.
Yes, and he finds out that they're having the rat problem at his mansion.
Which I don't know if the writers are this smart, but do you think that was a nod to a rat that a rat who tells someone,
like a snitch?
Yeah.
No, I mean obviously it's they could have picked any pest, so you pick rats when it comes to criminals and cops and stuff like that, because I think they actually have a line at some point about having a rat, and someone's like, yeah, it's a big rat over there, or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, it's when they go in and he says, what kind of rat is that? And Martin Lawrence says, big motherfucker.
Yeah.
Again, I think they are trying so hard.
Yeah.
So
because and here's with this he's supposed to be a cartel criminal mastermind, and he's just keeping his money loose and out in his mansion,
in his rat-filled attic.
Yeah, you would think he would wrap it in plastic and put it in drums or something at least, so it would be protected from the elements.
Also, this guy is rich as fuck. Why does he have rats?
Because it's his mother's place or his grandmother's place.
Yeah, but he even says at one point it's a dump.
Yeah, because none of the upkeep's been done on it, and he's got all this money that he should be using to do the upkeep on it.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so
we get to talk about rat balls.
Yeah, because they go undercover. Will and Martin go undercover as pest control people, and in the weirdest little cut, they go to the guy who runs the pest control place, and he's showing them all these bugs and stuff, and I'm like, well, you don't need to train them. Like, they're not actually gonna have a shift for you, dude.
Yeah,
they're not gonna cover like Wednesday night when old like Tommy's out of town or whatever.
You imagine they gotta call on the cell phone. No, I can't fill the shit because we're trying to catch criminals.
Yeah,
we're not exterminators. I know you trained us.
Wait, so that guy that they meet with that owns the place, he knows they're undercover, right? Because otherwise, he hired them on the spot.
Yes, and gave them a half an hour's worth of training.
They show up and think that it's cockroaches and it's rats, and Martin Lawrence looks like he's gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, he's like, nope.
Yeah, so, they have this whole thing where they're supposedly killing rats, but they're just looking for clues. And Martin Lawrence notes that the rats fuck just like us.
Just straight up pile driving this mama rat.
Yeah. Which, I gotta know who had to set up that shot. I mean,
if that was CG, I pity the poor fool that had to animate that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be CG, but it's not like poorly done CG. Like it looked pretty real.
I'm just imagining that setup now. Let's get a couple rats, put on some Barry White.
I feel like it's the same way in that South Park episode when they got the pig and the elephant to have sex.
You got Isaac Hayes to sing about it.
Hey, he was alive at the time.
Yeah, well, there's a point.
Did you see me and Uncle Sam? Yeah, Isaac, it was great. Can you just set this up? he talked about that for years.
Yeah, it was the highlight of his career.
So, this is where also Swarthy is meeting with Peter Stormare and Stormare's partner, because basically Stormare wants to pay less money because Martin's sister wants more money.
Right.
To kind of fuck up their operation, I'm guessing.
Sure.
I guess. Like, otherwise, she's just endangering lives. Like, there's no reason for her to want more money other than that. So, this scene felt very Scarface. It felt like the scene where, in Scarface where they go to that meeting and, like, two guys go there, but then one of the guys ends up getting, like, thrown out of a helicopter.
Okay, I thought you were going to talk about the chainsaw scene in the first of the movie, but I get what you're going for, yeah?
Yeah, like, it just felt like it was a different way they killed him, obviously, but it felt similar. Because basically, he brings in this, like, tub with Stormare's partner. His body parts are all, like, chopped up.
Yeah.
And he says, well, now you have to sign everything over to me, or I'm just going to go fuck your wife and steal your kid.
Essentially.
Yeah. Oh boy. So
doesn't he say he's gonna sever his head off at one point?
Oh yeah, he gets another bin out.
I just sever your head off.
Oh yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Let's let that language sit there for a minute.
Guys, they wrote this script. This was a script that several people sat down, wrote it, and then said, "Yup."
Was it the More Gooder podcast?
Oh.
With their terrible grammar.
They actually gave us a nice shout out this past episode.
Shots fired.
They gave us a nice shout out.
Was it grammatically accurate?
It was actually because the host of this podcast. By the way, More Gooder Than, very very funny podcast, very good, very entertaining show. Check it out, guys. But the host of the show, does his G's differently than a lot of other people. So he'll say like Paul Giamatti and stuff.
Okay.
So he did his whole thing. I asked him to do his whole intro like that way. So he's like, so we're going to go into our Judy bag. It was a good time. Guys, check them out. More Gooder Than podcast. Anyway. So
is it the More Gooder Than podcast or the More Jooder Than podcast?
More Jooder Than.
Okay.
I'm calling them that forever now. Will Smith is Booker T, I have down here. Oh, right, because he says, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Yeah. They're such different... like, it was at this point of the movie where I was... The differences between the first one and this one really started to kind of nag at me, because it was like... There was all... Like, in the first one, the coloring and the filters... and like the filming styles, like the angles and everything about that movie and this movie are just night and day, like so different.
Like the Tom Cruise movie?
No, good, but
I just
like the first one has like all these really, like at night there's all these really cool filters, like that really. He really did a good job with like the blues that were used for during like the night scenes and stuff like that. During the day, when they're in Miami, there was kind of like this overexposed sun, really orange tint to a lot of it, to like let you know that the city is like a really like just hot and boiling place, and you see them out, and it's uncomfortable because it's uncomfortable work that they're doing, and like everything about the first movie, as far as a Bruckheimer Michael Bay movie, is done so well in comparison to this movie.
From what I understand, the first movie is probably less of a comedy too, is it not?
There's comedic elements to it,
but definitely
it's not done like this one where they're just nonstop quipping.
Yeah, a movie where they nonstop quip while like people are getting like chopped into pieces, like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is actually my favorite part in the whole movie. Okay, and it's intentionally funny. So Swarthy is pissed off because basically Will and Martin find out. Something's. They find out. What do they get in the house? They take something out of there. They find the finger. They find a finger of that Russian guy that he chopped up. Mm-hmm. So they get the fuck out of there before they get. Well, they do get caught, but they drive out. Swarthy finds out that he thinks they were gangbangers, like you said. Yeah. He shoots his buddy from earlier that said his daughter was fucking beautiful, and. He does like a single tear thing. Like I said, he is acting his heart out. And then as soon as he shoots him, his mother comes out on the balcony and she says,
she's like, "What happened?"
And she's like, "Oh, mommy, he shot himself. Very sad."
Oh, send a nice thing to his mother.
Yeah, he's like, "I'll do that." And she's like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah. Well, we find out later that she's not the most balanced person either.
I do love that scene though.
Yeah.
It's just like his delivery, like, "It's okay, mommy, he shot himself." Yeah. So anyway, more computer stuff.
Did you notice that the video surveillance and stuff that they used, at least in the the feds and stuff, it looked like Night Trap. I don't know if you've ever played Night Trap.
I don't believe I have.
If anybody's ever played the Sega CD game Night Trap, it's because it's one of the earlier full motion video games.
Oh no!
The screen is like keep the people in the game looking not stretched and like garbled and pixelated. The screen had to be extra small, which would look really weird on a television, so they would always fill out around the borders with some busyness or part of the interaction for the game, so you'd see like another display that's saying something else that's going on in the game, and over here are your weapon selections and stuff like that, while the screen in the middle is super small. That's what this looked like to me.
Okay.
Night Trap.
Check it out
Coming soon to PlayStation 4 through limited run games.
Wait, really?
They really are. They're re-releasing that game.
Or, guys, you can go buy a Sega CD.
I already have mine.
Oh. For sale?
No.
You heard it here first, guys. Yeah, I was gonna say. So this is where Michael Shannon comes back into the movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm confused. He knows about the boat. Is that what it is?
Yes.
He knows about the drug, basically the drug boat.
The Dixie something or other.
Yeah, where we find out.
He's calling us to let us know.
Oh, perfect.
Michael, you there? Oh, he hung up. Sorry.
Oh,
we'll have to keep going on.
Okay. Sorry, Michael Shannon. We'll take your call later.
We'll get you on the podcast someday.
Maybe he sent us a question for our mailbag next week.
Possibility.
Oh man, if that happened, I would just like do this for the rest of my life. So, yeah. So Michael Shannon comes back, tells him about the boat. For some reason, when they're waiting for the boat, they have like a hammock set up. Did you notice that?
Well, it's Southern fishermen. Of course, they're gonna have a hammock.
This is also where I don't know if we mentioned this. Did we mention the relationship? But like Will Smith and Martin's sister are in a relationship, but Martin doesn't know about it.
Right.
And this is where he kind of finds out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have anything else to note there. Just he finds out and he's not happy. That's pretty much it.
I do have a note there. Don't they get dressed up like really dressed up? Because I have a note here. Model Cop this fall on Fox.
Yeah, that's where he has the Booker T line.
Yeah, or Will Smith as undercover pimp.
Yeah, that's where he says, "Don't hate the player, hate the game," and Martin Lawrence says, "Hate the tailor."
Yes, that's it.
2 cameos coming up here. Michael Bay.
Yes, he's in the car.
Very brief cameo, and Dan Marino in a car commercial cameo.
I did have a note for the Michael Bay cameo. Michael Bay calling someone else a freak. Where does he get off?
What were you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy the hat that he chose for his character.
I didn't notice the hat.
It was like one of those like fisherman like bucket hat.
Oh, it was
things.
like a bucket hat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I hope it's just a hat that he normally wears, or maybe he was just like, man, I'm gonna be a real weirdo. I gotta wear one of those weird hats.
So he just gets a bucket hat.
Yeah. So Dan Marino's cameo, because he shows up, they try to get a car, apprehend a car or whatever to go after the baddies, and
Yes.
they get Dan Marino is test driving a car, and like literally in the middle of the car chase, Will Smith is like, Dan Marino should definitely buy this car.
Well, not this car, because I'm going to wreck the shit out of this car, but he should definitely buy a car like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a commercial.
Yes. Well, that's,
Like, but no, I know, but like this is the most blatant one of them all, I think. Aside from the giant Pepsi truck that drives in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I
actually just have my notice here, sweet, more subtle driving.
Yeah. So this scene, again, it's a very long scene. This time they're chasing the mortuary truck because they find out that, or they figure out that they think the drugs are being shipped
Right.
in dead bodies.
And they missed the perfect music cue for this next part.
Go on.
It's raining men.
Oh my God.
Hallelujah.
Well,
It's
I can tell you right now why they didn't use that song. Because Michael Bay was like, well, that's a gay song, bro.
I suppose.
Man,
Did you notice that one of the cadavers looked like Matt Walsh?
I don't remember.
Oh my God! There's one of them who looks just like Matt Walsh. I couldn't get over it.
Maybe it was Matt Walsh's like cameo.
In one of his earlier roles.
Well, I mean, even then he was already appearing in like Old School, like the year before that. So I don't know.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny.
But yeah, I would love to find out that it was actually him playing a corpse. That would be tremendous.
And it was another part of this. This part of the movie, it just made me want to play Battlefield Hardline.
See, that should tell you something, guys, that parts of this movie made Nathan want to play video games.
They made me want to play video games all the time. Like, just, I would have rather done anything else.
All right. So after they're throwing well, they're not throwing bodies. The bodies are falling under the back of the truck.
Right, it's raining men.
Right. And they find out that there is just another big shootout too, right after. Joey Pants shows up. Basically, they fucked up again. Michael Shannon's in their trunk. Okay, at this point, these guys are
for the electro decapitation.
Oh yeah, that's right. These guys would be arrested at this point. I know they're cops, but they got to be like suspended or something.
Worst policing ever.
Oh, so bad. I gotta say though, coming up, I think you will agree with me. This is legitimately the best part of the movie.
What's that?
Reggie.
Oh, Reggie. Yes.
This is Will and Martin. I feel like we're given free reign in this scene, and they just went off.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did.
This is a very cruel scene, but it's so funny.
Before they get to that, though, they show, because Martin is having his second thoughts about breaking up the team and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're going. Is with him or Will Smith. One of them's going through their yearbook, and you see that his character was a total nerd in high school.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the glasses and the braces, and that's where they have the quote again that they're that they ride together and they die together. They're bad boys for life.
Yes.
We find out that if he's a total dweeby nerd in high school. In the first movie, we find out that Martin Lawrence was also a total dweeby nerd in high school, because there's a picture of him with like this big afro, a goofy, smile on his face, giving the peace sign and stuff like that.
Okay, so they were both nerds.
They're both nerds, and they grew up to be action junkie cops.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Michael Bay.
So
Thundercats. I don't know why I have that note there.
So Reggie.
Yes.
So this guy comes over to date Martin Lawrence's a young daughter, and Martin opens the door, and the first thing he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yep.
They just like Will Smith comes up and pretends to be like an ex-con uncle,
recently released from from prison.
I ain't going back.
You ever make love to a man?
You want to?
Yeah. It was also at this point where I was so upset at Will Smith dropping N-bombs left, right, and center. I did not know what to do. So off-putting. So off-putting to hear him throwing out N-words. I was just like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do.
Wait, for him to just say that word, it's off-putting?
It's Will Smith. It's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Do you still... Wait, now, Cole, hold on. Do you still see him as that?
A lot of the time. But
I guess
even without that, there's still a rise above wholesomeness.
Yeah,
that he kind of has.
That's true.
For me, anyways, it was really off-putting. I can deal with him like saying fuck and stuff like that, but this, I don't know what it was about this that just bothered me so much.
Yeah, I agree. It's easier. It's more natural to hear Martin Lawrence saying it than Will Smith.
Well, I'm used to Martin Lawrence saying it because I've heard his stand-up and stuff.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
There's not Carlos Mencia, for God's sake.
Oh, nobody is. Thank goodness.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't. I just I don't know what to do. So upsetting. So upsetting.
Another blatant product placement is Pepto-Bismol. Did you notice that one?
I did not, but it wouldn't surprise.
When they're going into the, basically, now Will Smith and Martin Lawrence go into the mortuary because that's where they think the drugs are, right? So they go in, and, Martin just randomly is like, oh, I don't feel good, and, literally he almost says, I better take this Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not a random thing. It's a callback to the first movie.
Oh, okay.
Because he's squeamish around at dead bodies. One of the first things they do in the first movie is they find a dead body who helped organize the heist at the beginning of the first movie, and they're walking around. And he's like, because he can smell the dead guy.
Will Smith also makes a reference that's dated now because he mentions the Learning Channel as an actual channel where you would learn stuff, which is really funny.
No learning going on the Learning Channel anymore.
Unless you want to learn about how to not raise kids.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's what the Learning Channel is now.
And again, Martin Lawrence makes a sort of dated reference too, where he says he smells dead people.
Oh, yeah. And at the time, that movie was only about 3 or 4 years old, so that's not, like, super dated at the time, but now, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dead titties.
Cover up them dead titties.
Yeah.
Will Smith gets a little laugh here, with just the way he says it very casually when he's reaching inside for money or drugs or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I think I got it. Oh no, shit, that's his kidney."
Yes. Well, it's played again, overplayed for yucks, because he did the same thing in the scene in the first movie where Martin Lawrence was having real issues with the dead guy, where Will Smith randomly knocks the guy's like hand or leg over, and he almost hits Martin Lawrence with it, and he's like, "Watch where you're swinging a dead leg." And he can't handle like the smell and the stickiness and stuff like that. And as Martin Lawrence is kind of walking out of frame doing his dry heave thing, Will Smith says something along the lines of, "Hey, you want to get some sushi later?" That's the kind of comedy that they used in the first one. It wasn't understated, but it was subtle enough to fit into the situation. Here, it's just crammed in, like trying to pack in commuters to a Japanese tube train.
Well, yeah, I like the imagery there.
Thank you.
Yeah, like the lines you said sound like actual lines. These are just them saying like, "Oh shit, that's funny," or "Oh gross," or "Oh that's nasty," "Oh fuck." Like it's not. They're not lines. They're just reactions.
Yeah.
Okay, so the long story short,
tripping on X.
Yeah. What did you think about this performance?
If the movie had been shorter, I would have been absolutely fine with this scene, because it was funny for what they did.
Yeah.
It of course, I mean, they're narcotics officers, so for a comedy of errors for one of them to inadvertently take, ecstasy and start, tripping balls is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, with how long this damn movie went, it could have been cut.
Yeah. No, really. I'm like, we're 117 minutes in and we haven't even gotten to the climax yet.
Yeah.
But this is... I do like this scene too, just as a standalone. They go to Joey Pants' house. Joey Pants is back.
Yes.
Will Smith is showing him the evidence. Meanwhile, Martin Lawrence has accidentally ingested ecstasy. And the best part, I think my favorite thing is that he suddenly appears in frame wearing a robe and like talking on the phone to someone.
I actually had to know that Martin Lawrence didn't have to act in this scene.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They probably just said, "Hey, Martin, you know how we say to be careful when you show up on set? Yeah, just show up on set."
For real?
Yeah, because this was like around the height of his problems, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he comes over, he's on the phone, and he's just like, "Oh, yeah, sexy." And then, like, his best line is when he looks at the fishbowl, he says, "That's a nice fucking fish. Big eyes."
Nice fucking fish. And I took note of the digital camera that they had.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That was old.
Technology.
And it's only... Yes. It's like 16 years ago, but it seems like forever.
I also love Joey Pants when he realizes something's up, is when Martin drinks the water from the flowers.
Or he starts smelling them.
Yeah. And Joey's just like, "What the fuck is wrong with him?"
Although we do find out that apparently the ecstasy gave Martin Lawrence an erection.
Call the wife, tell her I'm on the way.
Yes.
Again, everyone's trying, guys.
Gross.
Everyone is trying. So, yeah. So they get the evidence, and that basically gives them the right to make their way over to his mansion, to Swarthy's mansion.
Right.
We're getting close, guys. We are getting close.
We're getting there.
I don't have a lot from this scene, just that they go in and like fuck up the DEA operation.
Well, there's also, we find out that, the Swarthy McFarlane's mom's, kind of unabashedly racist.
Oh, yeah. And apparently blind.
Yeah.
Because he brings Martin's sister in, and she says, "Oh, what a nice girl. Is she a black girl?" But she doesn't say that.
She said that, or she says Negro, doesn't she?
Yeah. She says the not as offensive
Not as bad,
N-word.
but still kind of bad.
Yeah. And he's like, "Mama!"
Yeah, he curses her out, and she's like, "Fine, well, I'm leaving."
Yeah,
in Spanish.
You make your own bed. You sleep in it. Again, this movie's offensive to every race.
Yes, every single one of them.
Man,
And she has to kiss Swarthy McForrin at this point, doesn't she?
Yeah, and that's
Gross.
just and then wait, what's wrong with Swarthy McForrin?
He's a little oily for my tastes.
I don't know. I call him Swoony McForrin.
Swoony McForrin. You know, we have discovered so much about ourselves since the beginning of this podcast.
This is really a mission of self-discovery. You're right.
Yeah. We still hated Ben and Arthur, though.
Greatest movie ever made.
This is where we get treated to the Russian Grim Reaper, though.
Oh, yeah. Peter Stormare wants his revenge. And he gets shot the fuck up.
Yeah, poor Peter.
He's like, I'm on your side, police, and then points his guns at them. So they kill him. He doesn't get to get revenge.
Have this big Miami Vice type, shootout bust type thing.
Yeah.
Action piece, which would have put the pin perfectly on this movie.
But no. Because
But
Swarthy takes Martin's sister, and he's going to Cuba.
And they have their slow stand-up moment.
And that's when we ride together, we die together.
We die together. Bad boys for life. Saying it with such a defeated tone.
Yeah. So
this movie is so long. So goddamn long.
One thing I have to note when Swarthy arrives at his Cuban... Oh, sorry.
Yeah?
Oh, at his Cuban...
I was going to say, you have that note. We just said that thing about the Bad Boys for Life thing. I just checked my next note on my list of notes here. We ride together. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. But yeah, like when he goes to his new Cuban mansion, which apparently is like set up and ready to roll.
Yeah.
They're painting The Last Supper, and
yes.
He asks his daughter what that is, and then reacts as if he didn't even know.
And here's the thing, I don't want to paint him with a broad stereotypical brush, but it's really hard to escape that if you're even kind of tangentially related to Christians, to know what The Last Supper is all about.
Man, I am not religious in the slightest, and I know exactly what that painting is.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that are super hardcore atheist. They know what The Last Supper is. Like, everyone fucking knows what that is. You
would not have to ask your, 7-year-old daughter.
No. How does she know it? He doesn't. That makes no sense. That's.
Do you think that?
That's the point. That's the point where I wasn't on board anymore, Nathan. That was what did it. I was like, no.
That was what did it.
No, I was on board until that moment.
Do you think if they ditched all the slow-mo, or at least made all the slow-mo like regular speed, they could have cut at least 20 minutes off of this movie?
This movie would have been 95 minutes long.
Yes.
They could have cut all the Wusa stuff.
Yep.
Like, literally all of it, because it leads to nothing.
Yeah.
Like, Martin... Anyway, we'll get to what Martin does at the end, but...
I do like the part of their plan where they're going to release cats and iguanas onto his property.
Just going to say that. Why cats and iguanas? That is so incredibly random.
I'd like to think they were all stored in the same bag.
They went to the cat and iguana pet shop? Like, what the fuck was that?
They just throw 2 cats, an iguana, another iguana, 2 cats, all going in the same bag.
What should we throw in there to set off the motion sensors so they don't see us come in? I don't know. What's popular in Cuba? Iguanas and cats? No? What are you, fucking high? Yeah, I mean...
yeah, I am. Get some cats and iguanas.
And one of the iguanas dies a horrible death, too. So, I'm glad that you know what? Maybe it was just going to be cats, and they had it written as that cat steps on the landmine, and people were just like, no, Michael Bay.
No, not okay with that.
You got to make it something way less cuddly.
Fine, get some iguanas. Cats and iguanas.
Cats and iguanas. They also use a toy truck with a bomb on it.
Yes, the RC Pro-Am.
And
like that, and I did like that they used the mines, or the sensors rather, for the alarm, were like the tumblers that they used in The Rock.
Michael Bay
which is also a way better movie.
Much like Alfred Hitchcock, Michael Bay does not forget his previous work.
Yeah.
Unlike Alfred Hitchcock, Michael Bay is Michael Bay.
Just terrible.
Speaking of last week when we were talking about jacking it in the editing booth, can you imagine Michael Bay watching the dailies from this scene?
Yeah, getting it right. So getting it right. Oh my god. So right. This is the rightest right I've ever been right at.
I remember listening to, I think it was like Paul Scheer from talking about Michael Bay, and he said not being facetious, Michael Bay is the most interesting person I've ever met.
You know what? I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
Anybody who's ever worked on one of his movies has, except for Megan Fox, has had nothing but nice things to say about the guy.
Oh, apparently he's a tyrant on the set, but not like insofar as like a bad person. Like, you don't want to. I don't think people come away saying they hate him. People love working with him.
They say it's always a blast to work on his movies.
And I can imagine it would be, honestly.
No pun intended.
Yeah. But apparently he will get right in there. Like on The Rock, apparently he would, like, if he didn't like what Sean Connery was doing, he was yelling in his face.
As any decent director would. I mean, you have a vision, you want it done the way you want it to be done, right?
I know, but you're playing with fire, right? Sean Connery. And, like, you know he was doing that with Hopkins on Transformers.
That's fine.
He's got balls.
I feel, you know what? I feel movie stars, when they get to a certain point, do deserve to be taken down a peg.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying, my point was just that Michael Bay has a lot of balls.
Yeah. Like big, gigantic, robotic ones.
As middling as his movies usually turn out to be. So, yeah. Okay, so this is the big climax here, the big finale. So, of course, it's like 48 minutes long. I like how they subtly make their way into the mansion, and then 2 seconds later, they're using a giant bazooka.
Yeah. They're like, let's go in via the, was it the sewer or something like that?
Yeah.
Or one of his escape tunnels.
Yeah, escape tunnel.
Yeah.
They also have, like, this is like Miami PD, DEA, drug smugglers, Cuban military. Like, this is everyone.
And
I'm
pretty sure this counts as an act of war. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Well, yeah, the Cuban military has been called. Like, come on.
They're on sovereign soil.
Yeah, which somehow was okayed. Like, literally, leading up to this, all the different departments are just like, we're with you. Permission to ride along.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, ugh. There's even, I don't know if you noticed, but when they do the Bad Boys for Life thing, there's literally an American flag in the background.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, my God. So, okay, big shootout. Lots of crazy shit.
Because that's what they're talking about when they talk about, you know, riding together and dying together. It's not just Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. It's America.
It's America.
It's America. If you're American, you ride together and you die together.
Every time I see a Michael Bay movie now, I always think of that song from Team America.
Oh, yeah. Off against another day.
What?
America.
Oh, no, I'm not even talking about that one. I'm talking about
you mean freedom isn't free?
Nope, I'm talking about the Pearl Harbor Sucks song.
Oh, yes. So many good Trey Parker, Matt Stone songs that fit into Michael Bay movies.
Yep. So anyway, they drive through a shanty town.
Also, Cuban cocaine?
Yeah.
I don't want to paint a broad brush and stereotype. I'm sure the
oh God,
Cuban folks
Nathan,
can make some cocaine.
Please don't. But this movie doesn't, and you would be lowering yourself below this movie if you did.
Yeah. Every time I hear of cocaine, I hear of South America, not Cuba.
Yep. Even in Scarface, he goes to Miami. He doesn't do it from Cuba.
Right, because there's no market there.
You're right. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's cornering the market. Swarthy knows where it's at. He's like, I'm starting a new thing.
He knows. See, because it's cocaine.
Oh,
your nose.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, they destroy the shantytown with the Hummer, and I have a note here, or a review, I guess, from my wife, who said, this was the only part of the movie I liked.
This is the part of the movie where I said there has to be some families in those houses. Even though they said those are the drug dealer houses, which they make sure to ADR in right before it starts, it just felt like there would still be families.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this still Plan B? No, this is definitely Plan C. Thanks, guys. Love that line. Oh, so Shantytown. Then we get to the U.S. border, or this like.
No, they don't
not
get
a
to the
U.S. border.
They get
sorry,
Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah. Where the big shootout takes place, and there are apparently landmines everywhere.
Well, there are landmines. It is a prison, and it is a military prison.
Yeah.
So it's not it wouldn't be unheard of for them to have, a minefield around the prison to deter escapes. But I have a feeling that they would have been shot on sight.
Oh yeah.
I don't feel that. Yeah.
I don't feel like the guards were like, wait, let's just see how this plays out.
Yeah.
let's just let these guys shoot each other. We'll just see who comes out the winner, and then we'll decide. Michael Bay, you don't get it. You just don't get it. In typical Michael Bay fashion, this is my note, not only does Swarthy get shot in the head by Martin Lawrence, but he also falls on top of a landmine and blows up.
Yes.
I was waiting for it. When he fell and they were doing that slow motion, I was like, wait for it, boom. Boom goes the dynamite.
I have a note here that says, why would you say that next to a mine?
What does he say?
I don't know why I have that there. Why would you say that when he's next to a landmine? I think it has something to do with something to do with Swarthy McFarlane before he died.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I wasn't taking good notes at this point. Again, it was a long movie, so there was more drinking involved than usual.
Yeah, by this point, my notes were getting fewer and further between as well. Also, I just feel like they're being very cavalier around landmines.
Yes.
Like, even Martin Lawrence even points it out, but even Martin Lawrence, like, when he tucks and rolls, I'm like, Jesus, like, you are not looking where you're going. And how do they know when she shoots that landmine that it's going to pop up and do that spin motion?
Oh, because they're bouncing Bettys. Haven't you ever seen those landmines before in movies?
I didn't do my landmine research.
Yeah. I've seen those ones in movies before, and because they existed in one movie, they exist that way in every movie.
Martin's sister even has a line, because, like, Swarthy's like, they're like, give me the gun, put your gun down, and she's like, okay, I'll put the gun down right next to the landmine. That's
it. That's why I have that note there.
Oh, okay.
She tells him exactly what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
Giving him time to react. She looks at the mine and everything and is like tossing it. He had a clear 2 or 3 seconds to move out of the way.
That's right. So Swarthy is dead. The other guy dies. And Will Smith and Martin's sister start making out in the sand. You got to do that around the landmines?
Yes, and they do another callback here where Will Smith tells Martin Lawrence, that's how you shoot people. From now on, that's how you shoot people.
Yep.
Which is a mimic of the line from the first movie where he says, that's how you drive. From now on, that's how you drive.
Well, there you go. Michael Bay doesn't forget his past. So... this movie comes to a close with them in the pool. They're singing, they're talking about whatever. They're going to be partners again. They're still going to stay as partners.
Yes, he cancels his
transfer papers.
The
dog again breaks the pool, which I got to say, Martin, don't tie your dog up to the pool. Just straight
exactly.
Up. Like, how is that why is that a thing you're doing if that happens?
You know what? That's not even a lesson you have to learn the first time.
No, it's not. If your pool is that flimsy, don't tie your fucking dog to it.
If it's an above ground swimming pool, do not tie anything to it that could tear it apart.
The pool breaks and they flow into the water, which again, yes, insane. Like, why do people do that? And they start singing the Bad Boys theme, and that's how it ends.
To which neither one of them know the lyrics. We find out.
It's like bang, spots, nose, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Bad Boys 2.
Yeah. 23% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. 78% from the audience.
That supports my cause.
Oh my god, what? That just proves my theory.
Well, you know what? It's even referenced in Hot Fuzz. Remember when he's like, "You ain't seen Bad Boys 2?" And it's funny because in that movie they fall asleep, and I'm just like, yeah, because it's 3.5 hours long.
It's fucking long.
But don't take our word for it.
No, do not. Because according to the Wall Street Journal, like our two loose cannons with badges, this movie misses its target at least as often as it hits it. Along the way, as well, it will likely batter a few brain cells into a premature grave.
Wow. This is my favorite negative review I found. This is from Scott Tobias of the AV Club. Mm-hmm. Bad Boys 2 is the rare case in which escapism involves leaving the theater.
That's a catty one, I'll tell you that. Oh,
I thought you were gonna. Okay.
This one's from the New Yorker. They said that the producer Jerry Bruckheimer and director Michael Bay's buddy cop Destructorama, that's gonna be the name of my next band, has all the editing beats of a sex film.
Wow. I might have to look back at that movie in that way and see if that's accurate. This is from one of our favorite reviewers we often quote on this show, the Christian Science Monitor. I love reading their stuff. Clever ideas and hilarious moments drown in a flood of violence and profanity. That's their negative review.
The Chicago Reader said quite blatantly, "This sequel is as sour and as jaded as they come."
Wow. My last negative review is from Roger Ebert, and he says, "Everybody involved in this project needs to do some community service." He gave it 1 star.
Well, you know, is he ever allowed to give zeros?
Yeah, he's given 0.
Okay. Fat Guys at the Movie says, well, at least Bad Boys 2 was better than Pearl Harbor.
Oh, God. Yeah. I think that might be accurate. This is, okay, so there are some positive reviews, guys. This is from Tim Roby at the Telegraph Journal. By the last real showdown in Cuba, your senses have been carpet-bombed beyond repair, and the overlength of the thing leaves you moaning for mercy. That's a positive review.
That's from the Daily Telegraph, actually.
Oh, sorry, I thought it said Telegraph Journal.
No, it's a UK.
Wow,
so even, like, the British apparently appreciate it.
Calling me out on the podcast.
Well, the People magazine, they gave it a positive. It said, despite the energetic efforts of Smith and Lawrence, this is a positive review?
I guess so.
Bad Boys is yet another hyperventilating sequel with an inflated plot and runtime.
Wow.
But it's a positive review. It's got a tomato there.
Thumbs up. This is a one I wrote down under positive, but I definitely misread this because it's definitely negative. This is from James Berardinelli from Real Views. He says, Bad Boys 2 isn't just bad. It's a catastrophic violation of every aspect of cinema that I, as a film critic, hold dear.
Okay.
That is pretty scathing.
I found one that you apparently wrote in an alternate timeline.
Okay.
Overlong, overblown, and... Oh, sorry, no, this is an alternate... I guess this would be an alternate universe, possibly. Mm-hmm. Because you're still the same, but, you know, you were running parallel. Overlong, overblown, and underwritten it may be, that Bad Boys 2 still punches the pleasure centers enough to qualify as big, dumb fun.
That pretty much encapsulates my review.
Yeah.
And then this is the last one. This is the last positive one. Again, it doesn't sound that positive. Smith and Lawrence this is from Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly. Smith and Lawrence give good razz. I don't know what that means. But Bad Boys 2 proves that it's possible to pack a movie with so much popcorn that it leaves the audience overdosed. That's positive. That's like a B or a B minus or something like that.
So yeah, that was
bad.
Bad Boys. That was Bad Boys 2.
Michael Bay on the chopping block. So,
the policemen give you no break. No soldier boys, no give you no break.
Before we go into Hype Central, Nathan, why don't you tell us a little bit about our next project? Besides our mailbag next week, of course.
You would like a little hint, would you?
Yes, I want.
A little hint.
A little hinterooski.
A hint of Rama?
Yes.
A hinterino?
Yes, a hint!
Oh, okay. Calm down, Brandon. Put the gun away.
Sorry. This movie's got me jacked.
Okay. All right. Well, when you've finished listening to our podcast about the next movie that we do, you'll know, and knowing is half the battle.
There you go. There you have it. So as we roll into the hype train, I want to say that. Oh, by the way, that will be revealed next week's mailbag, so be sure to tune in. Follow us on Twitter, WWTT Podcast. You can find us on Facebook. What Were They Thinking? All the platforms, any platform pretty much that you listen to podcasts on, iTunes.
Even ones that Brendan made up.
Yeah, ones that I made up. iTunes is clearly not a real thing.
No, we talked about Johnny iTunes before. He's a good guy.
Johnny iTunes and Bobby Google Play.
I met their moms. They're really nice folks. They gave me some pasta marinara with some meatballs. Oh, lovely ladies. Lovely ladies.
I thought it was weird that they rated you, though. So we are on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, Podbean, YouTube, obviously, Pocket Cast, Podknife, all that good stuff. So, rate and review us on iTunes. That would be lovely.
Yes, most definitely.
Do you have I believe you brought a taped recording with you there. What's...
Yes, I do, actually. Just give me a second.
Okay, sure.
Hello, didn't see you there. Do you need a little monkey in your life? Do you need someone to tell you that he's better than you? And let you know what's going on with popular culture and professional wrestling? Well, tune in to Montrose Monkington III, Esquire, on YouTube. You may also find me on Facebook, Montrose Monkington III, Esquire, and Friends. And also you may find me on Twitter, at Montrose III, on Twitter. That's right. You too can be a friend of Montrose. Thank you. More later.
And he made it through the whole thing without insulting you. That's impressive.
Well, I think that was more of his more wide-reaching promos. Obviously, he wants people to tune in, and then once they get to know who he is, and they'll understand why he hates me so much.
Oh, okay. So that one's going to like all the mainstream stations.
Right. He it's the get the ears in the door before he lays down the real smack.
Sorry, just like the visual imagery. Get the ears in the door.
Get the ears in the door. Yeah.
I could just see Michael Bay. All right, get the ears in the door. What? Just do it. Action.
Just do it.
So, yeah, okay. And I noticed that you may have a question or two for me, perhaps.
Well, I mean, I do.
Okay.
Now this movie was a sequel that came out 10 years after the original one came out. And in that, we get a movie that was shot so differently from the first one to the second one, but it's shot by the same guy. And in this movie where we are pounded in the head about how that these guys are that they ride together and they die together and that they're bad boys for life.
Noted.
And they're so close as to be essentially brothers, but one of them doesn't want the other one dating his sister, and we have a B plot where Peter Stormare is the Russian Grim Reaper, and then when everything seems like it's all wrapped up, we have to go to Cuba. I just, with all that going on, really need to know.
Yeah?
What were they thinking?